Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to my garden. I thought today we would just walk together through the cut flower garden because there is some gorgeous summer annuals that have just started blooming. And it's late afternoon right now, so I was hoping that we could catch some of the pollinators in action. But I'm wishing I would have come in here earlier this week to do this tour because yesterday we had some torrential rains. Like within less than 24 hours, we had between 4 and 5 inches of rain, and we had high winds with it. So it toppled over a lot of the flowers, but they're still blooming beautifully. So let's just walk through the garden together and enjoy everything that's in bloom. This is currently my favorite corner in the garden, so I think we'll start right here. The sunflower patch has just started blooming, and right in here you can see I planted some seeds. I think it was a week ago when I did that. All of those seedlings have sprouted, but it's just a peaceful corner in the garden right now. This is a flax that I got from my mom's garden 2 years ago, I think. They just have a couple patches of them throughout the garden, but you can see the pollinators absolutely love this flower. There's a bumblebee right there. And the liatris has started blooming, or the blazing star, I think that's what some people call it. The daisies are just going out of bloom right now. This rose is just getting ready for its second flush of flowers. The lavender is, I think I could come in here and kind of start cutting back the lavender. This hydrangea, this is a limelight hydrangea, and it's just getting its blooms. This always puts on a glorious show, usually in August and September. The coneflower echinacea is just really pretty right now. The phlox, you can see I could come in here and cut those back. And the obedient plant has just started blooming. I love that flower because the hummingbirds go nuts over it. And in here you can see I have some more phlox and another rose that my mom gave to me a few years ago for a Mother's Day gift. And it blooms beautifully all summer long. I think we'll go around this way and kind of go around the edge. And then we'll hop on into the cut flower garden because there's some pretty things in bloom. Along the front of this border, I have a black-eyed Susan, and there is a firelight hydrangea. I think this is the third season I have it in here, and it's definitely filling in, looking so pretty. This daylily, when I got it last year, it was in a gallon container, and I just split the plant in half, put the one half in here, and place the other half down there. We'll see it in just a bit. But I love this color. This is my absolute favorite color. And then we have a Harlow Carr rose. I was thinking that I really don't like this David Austin rose, but I think this is the first year that it's actually gotten big blooms. So it's kind of growing on me. Back here is some foxglove that I had started from seed. You can see they're kind of toppled over from the rains yesterday. And allium, summer blooming allium. The bees love this plant once it's actually in full bloom. And this rose is just in its second flush of blooms. It's more of a single petaled rose, but it's so pretty. I love the white color. The hollyhocks are pretty much done blooming, but I'm letting them go to seed because I want to save seed from it. And then we have some Russian sage that's just starting to bloom. The clematis is pretty much done blooming for now. I think I'm going to come in here and kind of trim it back because it's, oh my goodness, almost can't walk through there. And some more Russian sage. And then this is another of the phlox that I had gotten from my mom's garden. So pretty. Some more serendipity alliums down here. And a geum that I planted just last week. Oh, it's looking so pretty. This is a geum that actually blooms for most of the summer. And a hardy hibiscus with its first blooms opening. And this is the other daylily from the plant that I had cut in half. Oh, love that color. Whoops, accidentally took a bloom off there. And then this is a pinky winky hydrangea that is starting to bud up. Down here we have a creeping phlox and some grass that is just going into seed heads. Oh, that looks so pretty. This clematis, I thought it was dead this spring. You can see like at the bottom it doesn't look very good, but it actually did get some blooms. I think it's called Stillwater's clematis, if I'm not wrong on that, but it's got very nice blooms. We have some more flax in here and backed up by bachelor's buttons that I had started from seed 3 years ago, I think, and every year it just reseeds itself around the garden. And some more flax over here. The drumstick alliums are pretty much done blooming, and right beside it there's some catmint that's blooming right now. And we have a poppy that fell over in the winds yesterday. This is one that I had started from seed. It's lilac pom-pom, but oh my goodness, those blooms are so pretty. There's really not a whole lot to see along this border except for some lilies that are blooming. I'm working on having some lilies in bloom at all times from June through August. So I currently have this lily that's in bloom. Oh, it smells so good. And I did have some lilies that were blooming through the month of June. But if you have suggestions on lilies that bloom in August, I would love to hear about it. I would like to add it to the cut flower garden. We have a mum that started blooming. It's really filled out this year. So I'm guessing all of that will give us some blooms in August. And we have a Joe Pye weed in here that is almost done blooming, or at least with its first flush of flowers. Some Dara that I had started from seed, and it kind of seeded itself around the garden. And nine bark, and beside the nine bark, I have a little fairy garden. I like having it in this corner because, as you can see, you don't really notice it until you walk right up to past the nine bark, and then there's the sweet little fairy garden. But I did add some summer flowers in there. There's some hens and chicks. And the pansies or the violas are just still going for it, so I left it in there. The alyssum is looking so good. And I did add some, I think those are called moss roses. We've got some sweet blooms on them. I just planted a few around the fairy garden. And then we have a rose of Sharon. I have seen the hummingbirds all over this plant already. It's so sweet with its light colored, I don't know, is it like a light pink? And then the center is more of a dark pink. And back here, I call this my little secret garden area because I have some spring flowers planted in here. There's crocus and daffodils and a few other things that bloom in spring. And the chicken coop garden, you really can't see from anywhere on our property. Like if you look back here, there's nothing behind us. So you have to walk around the garden to actually see what's in here. You can see the top of the hydrangea and the honeysuckle from the kitchen window, but that's it. So this is just a fun little secret garden area. And I have some herbs growing in here for the chickens. And as you come around the front of the chicken coop, this honeysuckle has been in bloom since spring. And it's also covered in red berries that the birds can eat. This little container I just planted up recently. I used to have an evergreen in here, but I wanted some summer annuals in there. And the grape arbor is looking so beautiful right now. You see the grapes growing in there, and it's underplanted with strawberries. I think we'll just walk down this pathway, see what's in bloom in here. I do have some echinacea planted around the birdhouse and some drumstick alliums that are going out of bloom. This black-eyed Susan had seeded itself right here. And this butterfly bush, I had planned on taking it out this spring. Never got around to it, but now it's blooming and the pollinators have been enjoying it. So I think I'm going to wait until fall and then plant a lilac in here. These daisies need to be cut back. This yarrow, I don't know. Thinking about taking it out because by this time of year it just kind of flaps all around. But this lavender is looking so sweet. I love how it kind of cascades out over the pathway. We have some more phlox back here. And the Litchfield Angel Rose it's not in bloom right now, but I think I see some buds on it. I'm also thinking about removing this daylily. I'm just not that fond of daylilies, and it can't be used in cut flower arrangements. I do have that one over there that I just love that color, but a bright orange color daylily is not my favorite. So if you have a suggestion on a perennial that could be used as a cut flower, I could plant right in there between the rose, and then I have a dogwood in here. I don't know. I would love to hear your suggestions. I have some coreopsis down here, some more lavender that's cascading over the pathway. And oh, this daylily, it's like a double flower, almost. Let's see, here you can see it a little better. But I just love that color, especially contrasted against the dark building. The supertunias are doing great in here. You can see there's some more Dara right in here that seeded itself. Some Russian sage, and we have some bee balm. Actually, I'm going to hop around the back side so we can look at the sunflowers. Actually, first let's take a little look at this little corner of the garden. So I do have another orange daylily in here that I would like to remove and plant something else in there. Under the bird bath, there's some ground cover coreopsis and some agastache. Oh, I love that color. Some phlox underneath the bird bath. The Emily Bronte rose is not in bloom right now. And then we have some more phlox. So let's hop on around to the other side of the border. On the back side of the border, I do have a tricolored butterfly bush. Look, there's a butterfly on there right now. Oh, isn't he beautiful? And we have some butterfly weed and the begonia on top of the little bistro set. And incredible blush hydrangea. This is still a baby. I planted it last fall, but oh, it's blooming. It's looking so pretty. These foxglove in here are done blooming for now. This is a tree peony that has the most gorgeous hot pink flowers in spring. Some more phlox that need to be cut back, and just a little backside look of the border. Over here we have lots of sunflowers that are blooming. This is, just look at that color, a red sunflower. Love using that in arrangements right now. Here's one that has, I think this one is called Pink Lemonade. Isn't it so pretty? And here's one that's a little fresh. A little backed up look of the sunflower patch. Doesn't it look so pretty? I just want to sit in here right now having a picnic by the great arbor and the sunflowers. But this is buttercream sunflower. I'm not really a fan of the traditional colored sunflowers, but I really like these colors in sunflowers, like the pinks and the purples and the soft yellows. So now let's head into the cut flower garden, see what's blooming in there. On this side of the cut flower garden, we have all of our vegetables growing. And I do have some raised beds that I still don't have completely filled with soil, but I do want to come in here this fall, finish filling it up with soil, and then have some fall vegetables in there like spinach and lettuce. This is a little raised bed that came from my husband's grandma. So it's like, oh, I would like to say maybe 70 years old, but I do have some mint planted in there. Some rhubarb between these two and a shovel handle. Over here is some feverfew, and then I'm letting the poppies go to seed. Those are all done blooming because just look at this flower. This is one of them that's still blooming. This is what all the poppies look like. So I want to harvest seed from that. There's some black-eyed Susans growing in here, as well as more poppies and hollyhocks that are going to seed. And in this raised bed, again, I don't have that completely filled with compost yet, but I want to grow my ranunculus in there next spring. And then 2 more containers with mint growing in it. Now the dahlias I actually got staked just before we got that storm. So those are all doing great, but if you look over here, my snapdragons, I didn't have those staked. So those all flopped over, and I have a wedding order next weekend. So, oh my goodness, I'm hoping I can still come in here, stake them, and be able to use them. But the dahlias, you can see, there's not a whole lot of them in bloom yet. The cafe au lait is just starting to get its color. It's got its first buds. The cornel bronze, you can see it has a little bit of color around the edge. And down here, we have Bacardi that's blooming. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Look at that color. We also have some new varieties growing that I can't wait to show to you once those are in bloom. This one is called Small Wonder. It's a very small, petite dahlia. This one you can see better. This is Status. But I love using this flower as like a little filler flower, sparkle flower in cut flower arrangements. We have some more calendula in here. And a little look at the greenhouse. You can see that the purple hyacinth beans, they're slowly starting to climb up the sides of the greenhouse, but I'm looking forward to what it'll look like by September. This is Starflower. And I don't really use the flower heads, but once they go to seed, I use the seed head and cut flower arrangements. This is a plant that blew over in the winds yesterday. The straw flower is just starting to bloom. Purple straw flower. Oh, it looks so pretty. I love the sound that it makes. And some more straw flower. Some celosia that I got from Floret Flower Farm. So I'm excited to see that bloom. In here we have the Queen Red Lime. Look at that flower. Doesn't that look like an antique colored flower? I am so excited for the zinnias this year. Some rose-colored gomphrena. And then this is Dawn Creek Peach zinnia from Floret Flower Farm. Doesn't that look so pretty? And some more gomphrena on this side. But just look at this color on these zinnias. Oh, they're so pretty. And then down here, this one is Precious Metals from Floret Flower Farm. And then we have over here the peach colored Queen Lime Zinnia. Oh, doesn't it look so pretty? Now, the Lisianthus is another flower that flopped over in the winds yesterday. I had staked some of them, but not all of them because I thought they would be okay, but they weren't. But this is Roseanne Brown Lisianthus. That color is absolutely stunning in flower arrangements. And all of these are Roseanne Brown Lisianthus. Then down here, we have the Lavender Lisianthus. Look at that color. Oh my goodness. And just a little backed up look, or I should say a little view from the backside of this border. We have some reblooming lilacs. Oh, that's sweet to see lilacs this time of year. And some more of the lilies. All right, friends, we have come to the end of the garden tour. I'm hoping that next week I can share with you how to make your own butterfly feeding station. I made one last year, and so many of you loved it. I thought I would share that again. If I don't get to that, we'll probably just walk around the patio garden, see everything that's blooming up there. So I hope you have an amazing week, and I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. I will see you right back here next Saturday. Bye.